Wire one, Marcos. Act like a professional. You can hear your room, dude.
Just got here.
Yeah, well, changes to live wire one. Let's rock this show, Pony. All right, here we go, everybody. Welcome on in. Tobin and Leroy here with you. Hello, Leroy.
What's up?
Thanks for coming out to the watch party last night, man. I enjoyed your company. And J-Fig.
Yeah.
And everybody and all the listeners. Thank you.
Evie was there.
It was a great time. A great time was had by all. Except for the game.
Wednesday was there.
Wednesday was there, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a good time except for the game. The game.
Yeah. Well, here's what's happening. And sometimes you get on a run, right? And you just kind of just say, we just gonna do what we do because we that good.
Mm-hmm.
And in most cases, you're accurate. If you are good enough, right, then you can just do what you do. And the Dolphins have speed. They've done their thing all year long, no problems. Well, what's starting to happen is the linebackers on defense are getting so deep, right, that they're making those throws a little more difficult. And the way to beat that is to run the football. Now, what happened last night was there was some decent running. The problem was you didn't have very many plays.
Nope.
And that kind of takes everything, and now you're trying to move the ball, and you got linebackers that are 15, 20 yards deep. That makes it a little bit difficult. They did try to do some adjusting, and that if you notice, they start throwing the ball a lot outside because they were just packing in the middle of the field. It's just kind of the ebbs and flows of getting later into the season and making adjustments. And I wonder what the adjustments are going to be because there was a whole bunch of things that just didn't quite work out. And that's why they lost. One, time of possession. You couldn't get off the field. I almost cussed already. And you can't touch Justin Herbert. I mean, like that will go down. And this from me, who doesn't, I get on people from complaining about penalties. But I'm gonna tell you this. The level of BS on that call on Jalen Phillips was just ridiculous. Like if you can throw a flag on a guy getting in the face of an official, if an official makes a call that egregious, he should be fined.
I don't disagree with you. I don't think it's top storyline on today for sure, but yes, it was disgusting.
It'll be Tua.
It's for sure Tua. I mean, like, look, dude, they've been the last two first halves that they've gone out there. Their offense has been non-existent. They've been playing behind the eight ball. Outside of that crazy fumble play from Tyreek Hill, the fumble Reekski goes the distance. Why you look at me like that?
Because that was terrible.
The fumble Reekski? What are you talking about? That's terrible. That's a point, dude.
That's not a point. Oh, Marcos is back.
If it was a win, fumble Reekski would have been right there with the Miami Miracle, dude.
Right.
And butt pump.
Everybody's talking about the defense. Don't talk about the defense. They did a fine job.
I get it. People are mad at like Josh Boyer because his stuff is getting predictable, but like this offense has put them in such a horrible spot the last two games. It's like
just always on the field. Like you're trying to do whatever you can to not give up the big play, but force the issue. And with a team as talented that it became difficult, especially in the last couple of weeks, because you have dynamic players at every different level. So you got a receiver, you got a tight end, you got backs in the backfield. And so it makes it difficult. You have to really pick your poison as far as how you're going to do things. And it becomes difficult. But I would say the offense has to find a way to adjust to what's going on the field. Because what happens in football is if teams start watching film and see what causes problems, they'll all start doing it. And basically what they're doing is they're playing really deep, they're getting their linebackers really deep, and they're daring you to run the football.
Right. And
They're
then you
just
lose and you lost Jeff Wilson in the middle of the game.
right.
And he I mean, outside the fumble, his running looked very good early on. So
Right.
that was a bummer not to have him out there.
Right.
I'm curious about this. You know, you have this performance yesterday, which obviously everybody's now back and they're smooching Justin Herbert's ass, and deserved for him. I mean, he was great yesterday.
Yep.
He was tremendous. He's now got more passing yards than anybody in their first 3 seasons. So, now everybody's back to thinking he's awesome and their rats off to his ship. But, hearing them speak yesterday, Tua and Mike McDaniel talking about the communication, why is that something that would be off now? Like, they were just out. Like, the thing is, they were just out on the West Coast for a whole week. They were telling everybody, oh, this is going to bring us all closer together. I would feel like communication would only get better as the season goes on. So why is this something where Tua is not on the same page with his receivers like he was, or obviously, for early on in the season?
I can tell you why. It's not necessarily a communication thing of knowing what to do, right? But it's kind of the intricacies of doing something successful during the course of a play. So, for example, if somebody runs say a square in, right, a deep end, which is what they run, and those linebackers are way back there. If you're on the same page, then you'll find a little crack and kind of loop around and come back to the ball, right? If you're not on the same page and the quarterback expects you to do that and you keep going across the field, those are things that you kind of just pick up with reps and with playing with one another for a long time. If that is an adjustment that needs to be made, then you can only talk about it after it doesn't work. So when you start doing this with a lot of your plays, right, when they mean the communication is off, it means that they both didn't see the same thing in that play. Not that they both don't know what to do, or you see what I mean? And as you get into an offense, you kind of know. For example, I knew when I was going across the field, if I saw a cornerback that was playing up on the opposite side, that I would kind of slow my roll and kind of go slow so the quarterback could kind of stuff it in there and I'm not running out of control. These are like just the little intricacies of each play that when they talk about communication, saying, for example, sometimes the outside receiver could be playing press. That means it's a go route, right? Usually that's the adjustment. But then right before the ball, he plays soft. He backs up. You see it all the time. DB just backs up like 10 yards. Now, do you stick with the go route or do you not run the comeback? These are all things that sometimes they get caught off because say what happens if the quarterback's looking on the other side and then then the ball snapped. He had a pre-read. It was adjusted. You run a different route than he throws. It happens, but it's more. It stands out more when you don't have enough plays. When you don't have a lot of plays. When another team has 30 plus more plays than you, that's almost like a quarter or maybe even a half.
Yeah, they had 2/3. They had the ball for 2/3 of the game.
Right. Yesterday. And so now when you take those little mistakes, those mistakes that during the course of a game you would come on the sideline and talk about it, right? And now you take and shrink the amount of plays that you have. Now you start having real problems and it looks really bad.
Looked really bad yesterday, dude.
So
really
I don't
bad.
know. So what they have to do is, as an offensive unit, that they need to go into certain games kind of understanding what teams are trying to do to them now. So now don't be surprised if you see more shallow crosses. So instead of trying to do that deep square in where the linebackers are getting depth, you do a deep square in with somebody doing a shallow cross. Remember, that's how this offense started, with a whole bunch of shallow crosses. So it's going to be very easy to go back to it. But the coaches, the players, everybody involved has to get a better feel for what the defense is trying to do to you so you can make those adjustments. And I just felt that yesterday, they didn't pick up on it quick enough when you see a linebacker 20 yards deep.
We'll take a quick break here on the show. Lots to react to from yesterday's game. You guys can call or text at 305-567-0560. Mark. Hey, we're giving you a chance to win 2 tickets and a parking pass to see the Dolphins play the Packers on Christmas Day. All you have to do is text the word Crowder to 20357. That's Crowder to 20357. If your name is picked, you win. Standard data message rates apply. Please don't text and drive. Sponsored by Dade County Federal Credit Union, the official credit union of the Miami Dolphins. Go to fincu.com today, everybody. Check that on out.
You know what's another thing about football? That everybody doesn't have the pieces to do what the last 2 teams have done. And so you may go into next week and their linebackers aren't able to get that kind of depth, and then you pick Buffalo apart. It's just kind of the ebbs and flows of a season. However, you do need to make some adjustments, if you run into something like that. I think they tried, but they didn't have enough opportunities. They started throwing the ball outside. Started trying to run the ball a little bit more, but they just didn't have the opportunities to kind of see if what adjustments they made were working, because then they started needing, Buffalo was content with giving you the same 12, 13 play drives they had. I mean, not Buffalo, but the Chargers. But at that point in time, you need to press the issue.
Well, don't forget, in that last Buffalo game they played, like, it was similar in time of possession to a lot of these struggles. Like, Buffalo dominated the time of possession in the first matchup. It was just that Tua and the offense were so efficient in the plays that they were able to still pull out a win. This ineptitude on offense the last couple of weeks has been what's been killing them, because I think even, like, look, because you have somebody like Tyreek Hill who's so special, like, they're still in that game when they had no business being in that game.
No business.
Because of a freak play he was able to make out of a fumble, and then toast him for a 60-yard touchdown. So, to still be even having a chance in that game, the problem is you're just putting yourself in a no margin for error place, because you did nothing for the first half of that game.
Right.
It was just, and that's, I think, what's frustrating everybody. I think also, nobody wants to hear injury excuses. I'm certainly not making that, but, like, we're seeing, I think that there was a lot of complaint from the Dolphins that you had a very physical secondary from the Chargers, who are playing a lot of their backups. Jalen Waddle has been dealing with a fibula, a groin, has been dealing with a lot of lower body injuries. So maybe he's learning how he has to play through that, because you saw Tyreek, he played, I think, a season low in snaps. Basically, we're just saying, like, all right, is your ankle possible to go this play? And you go out there, and the fact that he was able to produce anything the way he was walking, I mean, dude, he was gimping on the way down, still faster than everybody.
Right.
Pretty wild.
No, it is, but that's, I mean, I don't want to sound dismissive of it, but that's kind of football this time of year.
No, nobody wants to hear it.
Nobody wants to
hear it.
And sometimes when you get to this part in the season, sometimes the best teams are the teams that are the healthiest. So there's some stuff there. I'm not discouraged, because I've seen, games like this, and I could kind of see how the game was playing out, that I either thought one or two things were going to happen, that they were going to clear it out with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, and then run Gesicki across the middle underneath the linebackers, something like that. Whereas if you have just a little slip by a back and you kind of do that, you kind of, work the field opposite of the way that you've done it, and that you throw these short passes to kind of keep the linebackers at bay, either running the football, shallow crosses, tight end delays, screens. You do a lot of things to kind of keep them from being able to get so much depth. And then off of that, then you go back to your stuff. But when you're limited on opportunities, you don't in game situations, you don't have enough time to really be setting stuff up, because you got to go down and score, and you need chunk plays. So it was kind of a, the defense played fine. Like it was like, I know they couldn't stop them when we actually needed them to, but I love the energy. I mean, Christian Wilkins is going to be all pro this year. Like, to make no mistake about it.
Yeah, Christian Wilkins,
he has gone to be, he is their best defender.
He's great.
And so he causes chaos. He's always in the backfield. And they put pressure on Justin Herbert. They made him throw the ball away a couple of times. They
sacked him 4 times. They should have had
right.
5. They had 1 taken away by the referees because of that Jalen Phillips call was bogus.
Right. So it's just that when you get so many opportunities and you give up one of those 14, 15 play drives, that just sucks the life out of you.
Yeah, of course.
Sucks the life out of you.
The third down splits. I mean, a place where Tua had so much success early on in the year, third down really didn't matter, the down and distance. And now it's like, these drives are getting killed immediately.
You got to establish the run. They got to get back to it. They got to start, kind of, and it's weird because you definitely don't want a defense to know, a defensive front to know that you're passing it all the time, because they'll just pin their ears back and won't worry about the run. But now what you're starting to see is that the linebackers are damn near playing safety to take away what you do.
You can text the show at 305-567-0560. You got to text in. Chris Sims is your daddy, Tobin. He rules. Does that make Phil Sims my granddaddy? Chris Sims can still go to hell, dude. Let me tell you something that's annoying about Chris Sims. He goes out there and he takes his victory lap yesterday on Twitter. You have this tweet, J-Fig, from Chris Sims. Chris Sims yesterday is like going all week. By the way, you notice the avatar, Leroy. All week, Dolphin fans kept saying that this was going to be the deciding game on whether Tua is better than Justin Herbert. You guys were right about something for once. Okay, dude. Here's the thing, though. I don't know about you, Leroy. I don't know about you. I don't know about you, Marcos. But did anybody catch Chris Sims' pregame pick? Because the entire Sunday Night Football panel, Chris Sims included, Mike Florio, that Carnival Barker included, they all picked the Dolphins. Not one person picked the Chargers to win that game yesterday. So now you're going to be like, told you. No, dude, you didn't believe in Justin Herbert yesterday. Now all of a sudden you want to come here peacocking? I'll wear the egg on my face. I'll do that. But I'm not going to sit here and allow Chris Sims to be at the fraud party that he wants to create. You didn't pick Justin Herbert yesterday, big boy. You had him as your second best quarterback in the league this year. Where was your faith going into yesterday's game? All of a sudden you want to hedge?
Sims.
You had your chance. You had your chance, dude. And you were a coward. Bum.
Wow.
Bum.
I'm lashing out. I understand. It's not the task at hand, but whatever.
You lashing out. You are. I get the frustration, because, the problem with Fins fans is that it's been so long that every time you see a sign of failure, you think it's over. It's the end of the world. But
everybody, dude, this is a tale as old as time. The December swoon. It's here again. That's what everybody's saying. And this year felt different. I get it. It felt like
different. It is different. You played you played last week. You played the best defense in the league. And this week, you struggled against what that defense was trying to do, and you didn't have enough time to make any adjustments really because you got behind. Kudos to the defense. It would have been a lot worse.
Yep.
I mean, they stopped him on 4th down a couple of times.
Yeah, Justin Herbert threw for a gazillion yards, only 1 touchdown.
Right. So from that standpoint, there's some things that need to be fixed. Definitely. You got a short week and you got to get healthy. But what I would do if I am a Dolphins offensive coach is you got to go into a room. You got to figure out what are our options? What are our adjustments if they're going to try to back these linebackers up and everybody's going to, pack the middle of the field and dare you to throw there because that's where you've been throwing it. And so you got to find different ways, whether it's, because they can't cover the whole field. So instead of going across, if you see a single and you just hook in the middle of the field or whatever, you got to find a way to counter what the last 2 teams have tried to do to you. And it doesn't mean that you're going to use it, but you got to have it in your bag to know if we see this again, we're running the ball 30 straight times. Or if we see this again, we're running Gesicki on shallow crosses. Shallow cross brings the linebackers up. You got that. You still got that over the top. But you didn't do anything to control the linebackers, and they just ran in the secondary willy-nilly. They didn't have to worry about nothing in front of them. That's why Tua was able to run the ball somewhat. The linebackers were 20 yards deep.
It's a Dolphins Monday brought to you by Gunther Volkswagen. You got to get to Gunther Volkswagen to get behind the wheel of a new Volkswagen SUV in Fort Lauderdale, Coconut Creek, and Delray Beach. For car buying done your way, you got to get to Gunther Volkswagen. Back with more after this. Check things out. Schmeeth and Schmolik says, we can't hear Tobin over him cranking up the excuse machine. I'm not cranking up the excuse machine. There's nothing like...
No, there's
really nothing. There's nothing of substance to excuse. They haven't been good enough. I do disagree with people, though. Like, the Dolphin fan who is got the PTSD over December, and a guy says it never felt different. The only thing that's different is that we weren't losing games against the crappy teams. We knew that December was going to make or break us. I don't agree with that. I feel like this Dolphins team felt like it had something really special on offense. And a lot of that had to do with, their weapons just seemed unstoppable. So to see them stopped over the last couple of games, it's been jarring. It has been jarring. Yes, the competition has stepped up and it has gotten much tougher. But I think that if I was going to see this team collapse, I didn't think it was going to be because of the offense. I would have thought that there were going to be some struggles on defense. I didn't think it was going to be looking like this.
Well, the problem is that you have to look at why, right? It's easy to say, oh, because Tua sucked,
which he has.
He has.
I don't want to we shouldn't dance around it. He sucked.
No. We're not.
I mean, he was 3 for 15, 25 yards in the first half.
Especially last week because there were open receivers.
Yes.
This week, I'm telling you that's not normal. When you see, linebackers getting that much depth, and when you started running the ball, if you notice, when you started running the ball and having some success running the ball, then those windows opened up a little bit. But they're jumping on these crossing routes. They're jumping on all the inside stuff. And the one opportunity you got to go outside, you were successful. Where you had a guy who broke somebody down. So it's, you got to be able to make that adjustment quicker. They've had 2 games where they've seen very similar things. I think a lot of other teams are going to try the same stuff to finish out the season.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to have a plan when you start seeing this. You see, I don't think that sometimes when you do things so well, right? You don't ever realize, you don't ever think that there is something schematically that could stop that because you have the weapons that you have. But when they do, you got to have a solution for it. You know, whether it's with the blitz, whether it's with, you know, coverages, whether it's with, you know, this team doesn't normally play man, and so we're going to sit. Now all of a sudden they're playing a lot of man. Whatever it may be, you got to have adjustments ready to go. I don't know if they had those adjustments because why would you think that a team's going to be able to have linebackers cover that much ground? And that's what happened. So we'll see. Like,
I think we all just were of the opinion, though, like watching this team, linebackers, schminebackers, dude. Like you got the fastest two guys in the league. Like they're gonna catch them eventually, burnt toast. And it feels like they would always find the open spots no matter what, and they would spread the ball around like this. That has been the thing that's been frustrating over the last couple of games. And I think that a lot of that has to do with they're chalking up to communication. I think it's how's your communication at this point? You guys are complaining about that. Like what about the West Coast trip that was supposed to bond everybody? Bring us closer together.
That has nothing to do with.
Well, then don't tell me about it, dude. Don't say we're going to go out here playing a game of skee ball at Boomers and we're going to get all closer together and then you go put that performance together. Don't tell me you're going to go to Top Golf and have that kind of performance.
Can I ask you a question?
-1.
What does one
for
do
lashing
the
out?
other?
Oh, dude, because Mike McDaniel was asked about this before the game and he was like, Mike, you've been out here at the West Coast, and what can this do for you? He goes, well, at home, a lot of things can take your energy. With here, nothing but football. Well, go back to the distractions, dude.
You're just chalking this up to the wrong stuff.
Nah, listen, you're right.
Like you're telling me
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
You're telling me that the communication shouldn't have been there. The communication problems because they bonded.
I don't know. You tell me. That's what I was told. They were going to bond. Where was the communication then?
Communication hanging out is different than communication on the football field.
That's all.
The hell is wrong with you?
You go to Waffle House. You drop a couple routes on a menu. Just to, it's all encompassing. And then what were they doing? I'll tell you what we saw, dude. I'm going to tell you what we saw right now. Can I tell you what we saw? Marcos, you want to know what we saw?
Yeah, I do. I do, actually.
Stunt Steve, you want to know what we saw?
Not really.
Too bad.
Thank you.
J-Fig, you want to know what we saw? FCF, dude. FCF.
What's that?
Fat Cat Fins.
Really?
Fat Cat Fins, dude. Bought into their own hype. They took that money and they bought into their own hype, dude. That's what we saw.
-1.
We're taking on the Chargers, a bunch of backups. Who they got out there? Kyle Van Noy. He's old. And, we're going to have Siobhan Armstead back. It's going to be the fix. I know Fat Cat Syndrome as soon as Fat Cat Syndrome when you see it, dude. And that was Fat Cat Syndrome to the clearest.
What is wrong with you?
FCF, dude.
But here's the deal. You think this helps or hurts the situation? Your antics.
What do you mean?
It's not a difficult fix. It's got nothing to do with communication.
I don't know, dude.
Right? It really has nothing to do with communication.
Tua said they were going to Top Golf.
You just have to have a better plan of adjustments when these things happen. And that's it. That's it. And after seeing it for the last 2 weeks, you got to believe that Buffalo's going to try to do the same stuff. They're going to pack. Look, they're going to say, oh, this is the highest paint scoring team in the league. We're going to pack in the paint. Everybody keep a foot in the paint and dare you to shoot it. That's basically what's happening.
You see the weather for next Saturday?
Cold and rainy and windy.
Snow,
just
dude.
move it. Just move the game to Detroit.
Snow. 35. I'll tell you what this is, dude. You know, this is final exam time for Tua. You know, you failed a couple pop quizzes. This is the last level. You know, you should have, and all he did was go and practice with his brother in Maryland. You should have practiced with Zonk in Alaska. Here we are.
Are you? You make zero sense as far as football and as far as this team. What you're saying is nonsense.
Why is it nonsense? I agree with you. I mean, you and I are on
You
the same
don't agree
page.
with me?
I do agree with you, dude. You're right. Linebacker depth. I crossing routes. Exactly. But also, where was the communication on this road trip, huh? You know, we were sold a bill of goods.
What does communication have to do with Top Golf? Have to do anything with running routes against a defense with linebackers 20 yards deep?
Have a couple brewskis. Sherfield hits a nice shot. And Tua comes back. He goes, "Hey, TS, got that crossing route down?" And then like, you know, Landon Roberts is there. Like, Landon, let's do a little runski here.
Dude, can I say something? When we were in Vegas, we wasn't talking about the show. You were shadowboxing.
Yeah, but everything is the show material. You know, that's just how it goes with us. We're always on. You know, doesn't stop. So you're making my point for me.
No, like. By the way, if I must, this is normal football stuff, right? Stop making it more extreme than it is. You have these ebbs and flows of the season, but as the season goes on, what you do is you start seeing things that you haven't seen. Then you have a plan of adjustments to make when you see it again. And then you go from there, right? It's the ebbs and flows of football. There's only one team in the NFL,
right,
that really hasn't had any struggles except 1 week.
But you don't want to know what else has flows?
Everybody else is like, you know, they're going through it, ups and downs. Sometimes, even though you have the ups and downs, sometimes you're still winning games. But that has a lot to do with who you're playing.
You know what else flows though, dude? A lazy river. And right now the Dolphins thought they were on the lazy river to the playoffs. Instead, they ran into.
Oh, you saying that they could have won that game if they would have gave more effort?
I don't know. Hard to say.
But that's what you're insinuating.
It feels like they went on a.
That's what fat cats do, right?
Here's what I would say. It felt like they went more on a West Coast vacation than a business trip. You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw a bunch of guys out there.
Can I ask you a question?
About.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do the other teams have anything to do with this?
Yeah. I'm not taking credit away.
Okay. Here's where the Dolphins are right now. They can compete and beat anyone. They can also compete and lose to anyone.
What?
Like I'm just saying, they're a team that you know, look, they need health. But I'm not discouraged by these last 2 weeks. I don't understand why everybody is getting. What were you expecting?
Guy says
you expecting them to come back you know, with 2 wins?
Splitskis. Yeah, Splitskis.
Okay.
I mean, they were favored yesterday, Leroy. That was a 500 team they were taking on yesterday. Not some juggernaut.
No. I understand.
Guy says maybe they bonded too much and now they're all soft and lovey-dovey with each other. Lost the grit. New couple has wild sex all the time, and then you bond too much, sexy heat goes away. Really? So interesting thought. Is the honeymoon phase over between Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa? I will say, we get it. They love each other. We get it. You know, it's a little overkill now.
What are you doing?
Stop talking about the past. Give me some results. Then we can talk some more love stories.
So I would like to ask you this question. You sound like you're rats off a ship.
No, I'm not rats off a ship at all.
Yeah, you gonna be up to.
No, I'm taking stock of the ship right now. I'm noting who all the rats are who are on right now. I'm walking up and down the ship, like he's on, he's off. But I also have to go look at the engine and be like, what went on here? You know?
There we go.
That's what a good captain does.
What is
You inspecting the
wrong
boat?
with
I'm inspecting
you?
the boat.
You go, boy.
Thanks, man. Little TTL. Little Tobes tough love.
Really?
Yep.
Now we doing that again, huh?
Oh, yeah, dude.
How'd that work this weekend with the Heat?
Oh, you don't even want to know. Don't even get me started on them, dude, because I'm ready whenever you are.
Rats off a shit.
But you had a miserable weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Actually, I did. Between this, the Heat, UFC main event getting ruined with bad judges, I did not have a good sports weekend. Panthers lose twice. Yeah, you're right.
Kings.
They're still there.
They just existed.
Yeah, you're right. Did the Marlins sign a free agent? You're right. No, they didn't.
Tobin
Nope.
got that. That's right. Tobin got that flip-flop love.
I don't have flip-flop love. I have the realest love. Everybody out here, they got puppy love.
Hey, everybody, take a damn deep breath, right? We're going to take a break.
Hmm?
When we come back, I want y'all minds right. Because you're like, this is too much.
It's not a mind
It's
right
too
day.
much.
Today's to vent. Tomorrow's
You-
mind right day.
Dude,
It's a 24-hour rule, dude. Everybody knows that.
fine. All right. Still got a break.
That's true.
Oof.